Yes.
Like the first
Yes, yes. Today you start writing. We finished. Okay. I will show you the yesterday, previous time I told you I will show you the rubric. How? Yes. Yes.
Oh no, must complete.
No, it's okay. Oh, let me just share it with you. Okay. Here is it. Literary analysis rubric. Why I want you to know it? Can you see it, girls?
No, must. Yes,
You can?
Yes,
Now?
we can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Why I want you to see it? Because when you know how teachers analyze your writing, okay, so you avoid the mistakes. And from the rubric, we know the essentials required for your writing. Okay. طيب. When I take your writing, when I take your literary analysis, and I want to check it, are you with me? How can I give you a mark? Or if you take your friend's literary analysis, how can you give her the mark? You use a rubric. This is it. Look, the thesis. We said at the introduction, what do we write in the introduction? Remind me. I start with what? Durra, I start with what, ya Durra, in the literary analysis introduction?
With a hook.
A hook. And then Fatima, after the hook. Fatima, are you here?
Yes, miss.
Yes, after the hook, what do I write?
Like the first paragraph.
Yes, the introduction. In the introduction, after I hook,
Yes.
I grab the eyes of the reader.
Miss, are you talking?
Yes, dear. After I grab the eyes of the reader, we said that in the introduction, I have to mention two things before the thesis statement. Who remembers?
The author and
Yes, I have to mention the author's name and
the name of the story.
The background information.
yes, excellent, ya Fatima, the background, and excellent, ya Sarah, the title. So author's name, title, background. The last line in the introduction should be
The
thesis statement. Excellent. Okay, how I evaluate the thesis statement? My thesis statement is a thoughtful and a clear argument. We said in the literary analysis, because I'm not arguing, I'm just showing my opinion, so the thesis statement will not be arguable, but he says it. So what I concentrate on my thesis is that it should be unique claim, okay, a unique claim about the novel. How? So as we said, I decide which point I want to talk about using imagery, discussing the characters, using symbolism, using what else? Huh? Foreshadowing. Huh?
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, dear. Huh?
Miss, I didn't get it. Should we write about a poem or a story?
As you want. As you in the book, it's poem. But I said to you, we will not be stuck to poem only. We will analyze novel, excerpt, short story, and we will discuss what you are going to analyze. Okay, but just
Okay, Miss.
okay.
Miss, for
So
today's
yes,
homework.
yes,
would
I
we
will
write-
tell you.
Okay.
I will tell you. Okay.
Okay.
We are still in the beginning, okay? Now, then, so this is, it means that your thesis is the best. What if my thesis is a thoughtful argument that makes an interesting claim? A normal thesis. Number two, my thesis is an argument that may be unoriginal or too simple. Number one, you take one, my thesis is not an argument or it is not related to my novel, so you will not take the mark. So what is the best thesis statement? Thoughtful, clear, which makes a unique claim about the novel. Okay, this is about the thesis statement. What about the structure of the essay? Because you take a mark on the structure. And by the way, the rubrics are for all kinds of writing, but here, this one is specifically for the literary analysis, but we check writing the same way. Okay, structure of essay. Look at this. The structure of the essay. The introduction is clear, includes short summary, which is a background about the story, or the novel, or the poem. Okay, this is the introduction. And the thesis. Then the body paragraphs each have a main idea. Remember, if I will talk about the imagery, so each body will be for a specific imagery. So number one will be for auditory imagery, the body number two will be for gustatory, the third paragraph will be for visual. So I have to divide my paragraphs, each one has a main idea, as we discussed. Be with me. What about the conclusion? In the conclusion, I summarize what I've said. I summarize the introduction, I summarize the body in the conclusion. And as we said, be aware of the length of the conclusion, because the conclusion is restated what I've said in different words. Okay, so when I have this, my structure of essay is excellent. What will be under this, Nanny? Number 3, my introduction mostly include a short summary. So if there is not a good background, if you do not mention the author's name, if you do not mention the title, most of my body paragraphs have a main idea, but most, not all. My conclusion summarizes my argument and tries to make a link, connect to other texts or ideas. So this is like, as we can say, it is a very good structure of essay. What is a good structure of essay? If your introduction includes a short summary, the thesis, but not all of them, yani you miss a part. Some body paragraphs have some. My conclusion always summarizes my argument, though it fails to make a connection, which is called loose end. What is a loose end, teacher? A loose end, when you write an introduction very well, and then you write the paragraphs very well, and then you come to the conclusion, and you messed it up. It's called loose ends. You didn't end it well. Okay? If you take only one mark, my introduction may not include a short summary. You may forgot to write a short summary, a background about the novel, a background about the excerpt. My third is my thesis too, or maybe a few or non-body paragraphs have a main idea, and you write like this, because for each paragraph we said you should have a main idea to tell me what you are going to talk about in the body, in this paragraph. Okay, evidence. What's evidence? We said I have decided that I will talk about how John Hersey used imagery in writing Hiroshima. He is John Hersey or Steinbeck? No, John Hersey, right? Or Steinbeck? Remind me.
John Hersey.
John Hersey. So John Hersey has decided to, John Hersey has succeeded in using imagery in describing the minute of explosion of the atomic bomb. This is my thesis statement. I have to support it. How? What's your evidence? How did you know that he did this? How did we know that he used imagery? So I have to mention, support my claim in the body. So each paragraph of the body support the thesis. What if I will talk about imagery, symbolism, foreshadowing? So each body of the 3 bodies will, one for imagery, one for symbolism, one for foreshadowing, as we wrote previous time. Remember? Girls, if you miss anything, tell me. Where are you?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Yes.
My body paragraphs each have 2 or more relevant examples. So I mention, as we said, we go back to the excerpt. I get the lines when he said the sky grew darker and darker, and I say to him, this is a visual imagery here. When he said when he opened his eyes, he couldn't see, and this is another imagery of visual imagery. Each have 2 or more relevant examples to support my argument or my analysis. So here you take the full mark of evidence. What if each paragraph seems to support my thesis? Most of my body paragraphs include 2 relevant but examples support my argument and an explanation how they support it, but not as strongly as the first case. We go to 2. Each paragraph may support my thesis, but not clearly. My body paragraphs include fewer than 2 examples. So here it means it is good, not very good, not excellent evidence. When do you not take the mark? When your paragraph do not support your thesis. When you write a thesis and then you write in the bodies anything that supports another idea, or another thesis. Or your body paragraphs doesn't clearly include evidence, or the evidence is not relevant to the thesis. Okay, overall cohesion and thoughtfulness. So overall, okay, and this is how we check. This is what we do. Thesis, a mark for thesis, mark for the whole outline, mark for evidence, how you supported your thesis, the overall cohesion and thoughtfulness. Your essay clearly communicates your thinking about the text and why the issue raised are important. That's why, girls, it's very important to plan before you write, to think. Yani, even if you are in a test, even if you are in an exam, you bring a paper like this, you write next to it, I will talk about this, that, this. Why you do this? When you do this, you plan your ideas. So when it's time to write, you choose which one you want to start with. So you do not write randomly like this. Anything comes up in my mind, I write it, because here, and then you say, why I lost, teacher? Because your thoughts are not organized. Okay, you have to organize it well. So overall, my essay clearly communicates my thinking about the text and why the issues raised are important. My essay shows insights into why those examples chosen are significant. My whole essay flows. You know what is flow smoothly? When I read, I don't get tired. When the teacher or your friend reads it, she doesn't get distracted. What she was here? What happened? What took her to this point? This is very important. This is a common mistake few of you fall in, that you get distracted and you distract the person who reads. So he finds himself, am I reading a literary analysis, or am I reading an argumentative essay? I'm lost. So your essay should flow smoothly with transition between thoughts. That's the importance of organizing your thoughts. So here you take the full mark. Okay, what is a very good essay? Not an excellent essay. Overall, my essay communicates my thinking about the text and why the issue raised are important, why I want to discuss about imagery, or why symbolism, or why foreshadowing, or why I would like to discuss the character, the protagonist, antagonist, and catalyst, why I would mention the credibility of characters. My essay shows why those examples chosen are significant. My essay flows well with transition between paragraphs. Then we go to number 2. My essay attempts to communicate. I'm trying. My essay attempts to show why those examples chosen are significant. My essay is choppy. The section feels separate and do not flow well. Choppy is when it's full of irrelevant details or irrelevant sentences. When you do not take the mark, my essay does not demonstrate my thinking about issue in the text. My examples are mainly retelling of parts of the story. And this is I've warned you about. In literary analysis, are you with me, grade 10? In literary analysis, I don't mention what happened. I don't say that Mike, when Mr. Tanimoto opened his eyes, he couldn't see. No. I mention how the author told us what happened. We are not analyzing the events of the story. We are analyzing how the author tells us the events of the story. So the author used foreshadowing, so I mentioned the foreshadowing. I don't mention what happened in the story. Again, I don't say details. No, teacher, you've just said we write the sky grew darker and I said the sky grew darker and darker. I use it in showing that he used visual imagery. Okay, but I do not use it to say what happened in the story, that the sky grew darker and then the bomb exploded and this. Okay, the last thing, and you have to revise before you submit your paper, grammar and editing, final editing. My final draft, your final draft had less than 3 errors in spelling, grammar, or punctuation. Okay, in the whole one. I kept my tense consistent throughout the essay. Okay, used MLA citation, formal for quotes. If you take any information of a site, you just mention it. Okay, my final draft had between 3 to 6 errors. The whole essay, not one body. Less than 3, you get the full mark. From 3 to 6, okay? In spelling or grammar or punctuation. So it is considered to be very good, not excellent. I kept my tense mostly consistent throughout the essay and used some aspects of MLA citation for quotes. What is a good one? My final draft had more than 6 errors of spelling, grammar, or punctuation. I had some errors in the tense and used one aspect of citation or for quotation when how we make quotation between two, the dot after the quotation or inside it and this. When do I not get the mark? My final draft had many more than 6 errors in spelling, grammar, punctuation. I had many errors in tense consistency and didn't use MLA citation for quotes. When I take a quotation, I have to put it between 2 quotation marks. I have to put the dot where and exclamation marks and all the punctuation rules. You understand, girls?
Yes.
So when you write, I will upload this one. When you write your writing, you check your writing before you submit it. Okay, okay. So we go back to the topic the question you asked, what are you going to write about? What about you write about Hiroshima? You can write about Hiroshima in the evening, in the morning, or you write about Hiroshima by John Hersey, or Hiroshima in the morning for risotto. Why? We analyzed them together. We analyzed the 2 excerpts together. So you can find what you want to say. Like in John Hersey, we talked about the visuals, the imagery, sorry, the visual, the auditory, the gustatory, the olfactory, all of these, we talked about them. We talked about foreshadowing. What did we say about risotto? She used what, if you can remember?
Anaphora, I think.
Anaphora? Excellent, Layan, that we answered yesterday.
Miss, do we write a draft?
What
or...
else? Yes, draft. We're still drafting. We are still writing our press. Today we'll start writing our press write.
In the Word, Miss, or in our notebooks?
No, write it in your notebook. Prepare. Okay. So when you find because you will find questions to ask. You ask next time and we'll discuss it together, and then we write our final draft. In risotto, we discussed the anaphora, but teacher anaphora will not be enough for a whole essay. That's it, the point. So I mentioned anaphora, fragments. Remember when she used fragments?
Yes.
What else did she use?
The
You have to
rhetoric-
remember.
the rhetoric questions that she used.
Rhetorical questions. Excellent. So I write anaphora, rhetorical questions, and what is the third?
Imagery.
Yes. So these are the 3 points to be written in the thesis, and these are the 3 bodies to be written in the body, and these are the 3 paragraphs. So I mentioned one, I mentioned the anaphora, and I give her examples of the excerpt. Number 2, I give examples of the fragments and short sentences and why she used it, and I give examples. Number 3, I give examples of rhetorical questions and why the author uses a rhetorical question, why Risotto used rhetorical questions to make me, no, to make the reader.
Miss, your voice is lagging.
So I do not mention myself. I lag.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Miss, we didn't hear what you said.
Here. Now can you see me well?
Miss, your voice is lagging.
Now?
Yes, now we can hear.
Okay. 1 minute, I want to drink only. Just. So what were we saying? The anaphora, rhetorical questions, the fragments. And then I start in each body, I talk about one of them. Do I mention myself? Do you hear me?
No, I
Yes.
can't.
No, yes, we can.
You can't?
No, we can, Miss, but no
Okay,
one
We can
great.
hear you.
Okay, great. So, do I mention myself? I do not mention myself. Teacher, how I write literary analysis, it is my opinion without mentioning myself. Yes, we said I twist the sentence. So I say Risotto has succeeded in, right? Taking the reader to her deepest feelings by using what? By deepest feelings, emotions, and by using what? How she took the reader to her deep self. Remember? You don't hear me or you don't remember the answer?
Can you, Miss, repeat the question?
Again, I repeat the question. If I want to say this is a statement that Risotto has taken the reader into her deep soul by using what was of these 3 rhetorical questions or the fragments or the what
Anaphora.
did we say the first one?
Anaphora.
Reading rhetorical questions or fragments or anaphora. How did she took the reader to her soul by the anaphora?
Rhetorical questions.
Yes, by rhetorical questions when she asked, what made me wait? Here is the example. What made me wait all of these years without going to miss? So teacher, are you telling what happened in the excerpt or in the story? No, I'm giving example of using the rhetorical question. Okay, I want to show you something. Girls, is it lag again? Because I have another internet. I can connect to other Wi-Fi. Do
No.
I?
No, it's
Yes.
Or you hear me? It's clear? Okay, so reply me because I felt like I. Okay, I want to show you
Teacher.
a small video. Yes.
So, Miss, today you are not uploading an online assignment for the writing. It's just like a draft.
No, today I will not upload the online assignment.
Okay. So we do write the first draft now, not the
I
final.
want you to prepare. You can write about any excerpt of your book.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Any excerpt, anything you want to analyze, any selection of literature, not only poems.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you this video. This is like 4 minutes. Small one.
Hiroshima, right?
No, you are allowed to write about Hiroshima, of course. Hiroshima or Hiroshima in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, or any other excerpt. Odyssey, Iliad, Odyssey, anything. What else we took? This for that happened in Egypt, 1000 Night and Night, as you want. Any novel from outside, anything, any selection of literature you want to analyze, you can do. Right, analyze it. You can analyze it. Why I didn't want you to stick to analyzing poems? Yes, dear.
بالاختبار you will give us like specific excerpt ولا نحن نختار؟
And in the test,
Yes.
yes, I'll manage it. We will discuss it. Okay, like we will discuss it. Don't worry. Okay, I want to show you this one. I will share the screen. I will upload today the rubric for you, and that's it. On nothing, and the online assignment for vocabulary and for the literature. Wait, I didn't share the voice, so I have to reshare.
Miss,
Here
there's
is
any
it.
like
Yes,
example, like an essay that is
exactly. For writing,
yes, for this writing.
huh?
I can't hear you. What did you say?
I didn't hear you well. So again, say. You want an example for what?
For this writing, for this type of writing about the literary essay.
Dear, we said Hiroshima and Hiroshima in the morning. You have to excerpt, and we applied for both. Remember, Najwa?
Yes, okay.
Yes, okay, حبيبتي.
Let's break down the literary analysis essay. The purpose of the literary analysis essay is to analyze or break down some aspect of a work of literature. You might ask yourself something like, how is irony used to create suspense in the text? Or, how does figurative language create the mood of the text?
So, girls, remember the questions that I gave you to ask yourself before you analyze an excerpt or a story? So if there is irony, if there is figurative language, if there is symbolism, okay, foreshadowing.
For a literary analysis essay, you might also compare and contrast two characters in a text, or examine the conflicts reveal the theme.
Oh, so we can mention the protagonist and antagonist, how they were introduced, or if it was a dynamic character or it was a static character. So I can mention only the characters. I can analyze only the characters of the excerpt or of the novel. So I can analyze only one character. How the author gives this character credibility to the question. Okay, So I can talk about the first body, about the credibility of the character. For discuss the Iliad, so I will discuss the Odyssey. I will discuss Odysseus, how he gave him credibility. Then I will discuss how he was a dynamic character. He changed at the end. Or how do the conflicts in the text reveal the theme? Setting, remember the setting. Setting affects the theme of the story or affects the mood of the story.
And often ideas you can all handle a certain time period in history or a certain culture's beliefs. A literary analysis essay reveals your ability to understand and reveal the deeper meanings of a work of literature. See the example thesis statement below. This essay topic would ask the writer to determine the similarities and differences between two characters in Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Notice what the thesis includes. As seen in the example, the thesis statements for a literary analysis essay must include the title, author, and idea of the essay. Read the example thesis statements below. They all break down some aspect of the text. Also notice that they include title, author, and an idea that will occur in the essay. Make sure to use evidence to support your claims. Ask yourself what information can you find in the text that shows some aspect of Romeo's and Paris personalities are similar and different. For example, you can think about how they're similar and different in how they treat their or they look. You can look at how the characters act. It is up to you to find evidence from the text to support your claims. Look at the brainstorm ideas below and notice the different ways you can prove Paris and Romeo are similar and different in the text. Remember that you must cited evidence copied directly from the text. These must be followed by in-text citations. View the example below and notice how the plan includes in-text citations. Make sure to keep your tone formal and academic. You want to make sure that you do not use slang or first or second person.
I do not mention myself and I do not talk to the reader. Listen. Are you here? You left me? Here?
Yes, miss.
Hello?
Yes, miss.
Grade 10? Reply me.
Yes,
Where do you go? Here, you do not mention yourself in any formal essays and you do not talk to the
and personal pronouns. This means no using I, my, we, us, our, to a personal response. View the organization for literary analysis essay below. The introduction is the first paragraph. This will introduce your topic for the reader. Make sure to end this introduction paragraph with a thesis statement. The body paragraphs develop your idea thesis, and you end with a conclusion paragraph. Let's review the literary analysis essay. The goal is to break down some aspects of the text to show deep understanding. Make sure that you are familiar with the basic structure.
30 seconds left in the video. Okay?
Make sure that you are familiar with the basic structure. Also, keep your tone formal and rely on specific evidence from the text to support your claims. You are officially ready to analyze.
Okay? Okay, girls?
Yes, Miss.
So you got it. So start writing your draft. Prepare the questions you want to ask me, and we discuss next period.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye,
You
Miss.
too.
Nice.
You too.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.